Are they gonna let us log in? Are we up? Are we
Yeah,
are we
I think
live on
so.
Facebook? Are we live on Facebook? Did they let us
I don't know.
did they let us
No,
on?
I don't know. We gonna see. You know what I'm saying? We gonna see if anybody from Facebook tap in with us. You feel me? You never
Yeah.
know. You never know these days, man. Shout out to whoever it is from the chop from the contest. Hey, shout out to you, Kevin. Shout out, appreciate you, Kevin, for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? We're going on
Uh,
Theory of Beauty. You know, seeing where everybody coming in from.
yeah, we in here. Coach Cody. What's good with you?
Yeah, you know, a friendly reminder for you to find you a non-virtual hobby. You feel me? Friendly reminders to find you a non-virtual hobby. I think it's a friendly reminder for everybody to find them a non-virtual hobby. I'm sure
Yeah.
myself, like everybody else, was trying to figure out what the hell you was gonna do, and really, I feel like I found myself going and checking in. How I usually check in, thinking like, "Damn, George, this absolutely work right now."
Definitely, definitely.
You know,
You know what? I mean, yeah,
Hey,
we'll talk about that a little bit more. But y'all say what's up as y'all come in, man. We got Jessica from St. Louis, Stephanie in here, Jamar in
hey,
here at
ATL
University of
teachers in
Stevens
the
Point.
house.
Yeah,
ATL teachers
yeah.
in the house, man.
The boy Vanson just showed up.
Hey, what you were saying, Tony?
oh no, nothing. Nothing, nothing important, nothing important.
We go. I feel like I
Except for
find my
everybody was
glasses. I
good.
realize right now.
Yeah, man.
I'm starting to squint. I'm gonna find my glasses before we start doing.
Hey, because I'm really interested to have this conversation because it was just like them days like what on the day the world stood still. You feel me? Like niggas was seeing Facebook posts from 19 hours ago.
It's
It's not
crazy.
showing me nothing else.
On loop,
We
on freaking loop.
we stuck at 19 hours ago. We'll talk about that though.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Definitely gonna save and just talk through a whole lot of the day the world changed, the day everything stood
Yeah,
still. Kevin, what's
yeah.
up? Education elevation, even when you're 40, absolutely 1000%. Nice school representative, handling business. Did
Yep,
y'all already shout out Coach Cody?
yep.
ATL teacher. Okay, I'm getting caught up.
Yeah.
I was doing some other business. Ethereum Beauty. I heard Mark Zuckerberg, out of his personal finances, took a $7 billion hit. So I don't even think that was just Facebook. I heard that was his bag. Like he
It
worked
be
like
like
everybody.
that.
He got a bottom line like everybody else. So I heard it was not a good day for that man. But well, my bad. I'm getting caught up in the comments. Or they loading slow, something like that. But what's happening?
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one, man. It's gonna be an interesting one. You got somebody. We got whistleblowers. We got people speaking out. They didn't feel right working there. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get into all of that dialogue as well, man.
And too, did any of y'all like how much of the interview did y'all see? Well, actually, no, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. We ain't gonna get it right now. We get it right
Yeah, yeah, nah, yeah, we got it. We got it.
What's
now.
up, Jim
We
Beavers?
got it.
What's going on, family?
We got it. So y'all come on in, man. Y'all know we'll let y'all
I can't
trickle
find my
in
glasses.
once a few more of y'all get in here, then we'll go ahead and get it started
Which one of y'all gonna
for
get the ball
sure.
rolling when we bring it in? It might be my turn
You
while I'm asking.
Yeah, I was about to say you.
While I'm out here trying to slide it on somebody else, it might be
Yeah, I mean, ain't it always some shit where it's like the person asking who's supposed to be doing what? Like
yeah,
niggas looking like
you.
you gonna tell her or
Right.
It's all on you.
That's completely fair. What's up, Nova?
was
Popping.
yeah. Yeah, man. And it was a good weekend for football. It was a good weekend for football. So I'm here. I'm
It's the
smiling.
game right now, even this evening.
Yeah, man. Raiders is the shit's crazy. They getting their money's worth out of that $100 million contract.
hmm We're gonna
Yeah,
see. They got a quarter left to figure out what the hell going on, but it's a game. At first it
yeah,
wasn't no game. Going into the halftime, it wasn't a game. Right now, it's a game.
yeah, yeah.
I
We'll
can't
let a
stand
few.
one of them. We Chiefs fans. We ain't even talking about
Oh
this.
yeah, fuck both of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll let a few more of y'all come on in here before we get it started. Y'all know what's up. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. If y'all on the YouTube, make sure y'all go follow on the Facebook. If you're on the Facebook, follow the YouTube. Y'all know how that go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Did you get your glasses?
My glasses, I think, are in the car. I'm being lazy and I'm like running into the car. So
No,
I'm
it's
just
all
gonna, I
good.
guess, not look at the comment section as much. So I'll be doing as much squinting. But yeah, I know
Yeah.
when I'm squinting, I'm looking at the comment section. So it is what it is, man.
Hey, so for all y'all to do George a favor, just go ahead and just type in all caps for the rest of
Okay.
the night. Everybody just type in all caps for the rest of the night so George can read y'all comments. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and get this thing started. We start the show. Where do we always start the show? Let's do
Me,
it.
my guys, we really live. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I drive. In the city, we gon' slide. Bet I be there pronto.
Happening? What's good? What's going on? It is the first Monday in October, and this is the Chop Up. It's your girl Toya G. Happy to be with y'all. Toya G at Toya G on Instagram. Go ahead and follow the Chop Up Show Instagram if you haven't done that show at the Chop Up Show at the Chop Up Show. But if you want some motivation, inspiration, a little bit of push, catch me on Instagram at higher definition, just like your TV, your phone, your camera, higher definition, LEC, leadership and empowerment coaching, or over on TikTok, Toya G HD, TOYUHGEEHD. What's popping, y'all? Good evening. I'm with some good people though. Who else I'm with? Good evening. Well, my name is Toya G. I'm with some other
Yeah,
great people.
hey,
Who else?
well, I don't know. I don't know what the hell
We
Damo
just,
got going on. I
we
thought
just
that's
going.
usually how we do it, but I guess he must be watching the football game or something like that. But check this out, though.
Well,
It's George
nah.
Lee, also known as Consciously. You can go to georgeleespeaks.com. You know what time it is. You know that a lot of shit is transpired. You feel me? Education is elevation. Hey, keep your ears tuned in. We're gonna be dropping a lot of jewels while we talk about what's been going on these internet realms today. You feel what I'm saying? So tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, I got a lot of screens set up. I got a new setup. Y'all forgive me, but it's the political plug. Y'all know it's a new shit, so it was a little bit of confusion. But we're here, man. I'm ready to get this started. I got a lot of shit to say about Facebook. Y'all know I'm anti social media, all type of shit. You know what I mean? So I got all type of negative shit to speak on. You feel me? I'm in that mode. I chose violence.
Yeah, as you typically do. Shout out to Stephanie up in here, Malik up in here. We see y'all in here talking to us. What's going on? Shoot, but Lee, I think I got the opening conversation for us. So take it away, brother.
Hey man, we know that here recently the CDC has released some new holiday tips or some new holiday recommendations. You feel me? And what is stole headlines is that they are recommending for us to put fans in the windows for indoor, events. This article comes here from NPR. It says, get a fan and get vaccinated, the CDC says, in its safety tips for the holidays. Anyone looking to celebrate the fall and winter holidays without spreading COVID-19 should consider a window fan or a walkway by greeting the Centers for CDC Prevention Center says. The suggestions are a part of the agency's list of safe ways to get festive, sort of in a sort of take of Miss Stewart's home for the holidays. The agency says there's safe for people from different households to get together outdoors than indoors, but gathering must take place indoors. The CDC recommends opening windows and doors to increase ventilation. They say you can use a window and a fan on one of the opening windows to make sure they blow out the windows. My question to y'all, before we even get into, because of course y'all gonna tell me how y'all feel about this specific fan stuff, but how do y'all feel about the CDC's credibility where we at right now in the pandemic?
I think everybody is. I think I'm gonna use this phrase as men who identify as men. I think you identify with this phrase as well. Free balling. We are just out here kind of doing what we do, and letting us make sense of it along the way. Nobody trusts nobody. Everybody's taking different information from different people, and it's largely because
Just out here doing shit.
period. Just out here lying. Just letting it, and when something gets weird, we shake it off, quite literally and figuratively, and then we keep it moving. That's how we're living out here right now. And so,
Oh,
like, honestly,
we living wild.
there's no direction from nobody, and the CDC lost their credibility a long time ago. I think they lost their credibility when they lose it. It's hard to even say. I'm trying to remember a specific time. I think when they was like 1 mask, 2 masks. It was somewhere along the lines.
It was
maybe in 2020. I feel like the CDC lost their credibility in 2020 to really talk to me about the pandemic.
I feel like was it? I mean, I don't think we ever. Like, we worried about the CDC when it was just like, you know what I'm saying, if you drink some shit you wasn't supposed to, you know what I mean? Like, or like you get like certain shit where you called in. It was never about like this pandemic shit. The CDC got some spotlight that they never really had before. So it was like we now having to criticize them and understand them in ways that we never really gave a fuck about. And so it's like with the way that they presented themselves, I think they just lost it. You feel me? So like they had an opportunity to establish credibility, but I mean, even anti-vaxxers aside, it's just like it's been so inconsistent with information that it's really just been about like, hey, we're trying to go it's like we're throwing shit at the wall. What sound like it worked, do that.
But no, but we know the reason why too, and so we can't omit, you know, the logical explanation for why this is, and that is that the CDC got corrupted. It got politicized when it shouldn't have been, right? There are a few institutions in this country that, and as Vince pointed out, the CDC has hardly been credible before COVID, right? So so they have their issues and their hang-ups just like anybody else, right? Any other institution, but there are some that are supposed to be, you know, nonpartisan. 1000%. Ones that are supposed to be completely objective are supposed to govern or lead or guide or give suggestions to the public based on just the public good, right? And so I think they got tangled up in the agenda, you know, whatever that is. And it depends on what you believe the agenda is, but they got wrapped up and tied up in choosing a side. And I think that set us up to really be put in a bad place that they couldn't redeem themselves from.
Well, I mean, we know what the agenda was. I mean, it was COVID happened during an election season. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, shit, we gotta look as good as possible, downplay the fuck out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, overplay all the things that we're doing to fix it and everything else. You feel me? And so, like, that's, I mean, a large part of what happened with that. So that's why you saw like a lot of public battles between the Trump administration and Fauci. I mean, even now, like Fauci and certain Republicans are consistently going back and forth in different hearings about COVID in Washington. So, I mean, yeah, like
it's just a different. Go ahead, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, so for me, it's more so like it's so saturated. Like COVID is so overly saturated with certain political ideologies. I mean, when it comes to just understanding COVID, with the impact of it, how many people it's impacting, what we should do to fight it, all of that is so overly saturated with politics and ideology that like it ain't shit the CDC can do. And given the fact that it itself has been politicized and really, you know what I'm saying, is constantly being attacked politically, it's difficult for it to see it in any other light.
One of the thing I was gonna chime into, just agreeing with you, Damo, was like, who would ever thought public enemy number one for conservatives would have been the medical person, you know, the doctor dude, you know what I mean? Right. Like that's wild. Like of their list of people they really want to, you know what I'm saying, give it to. Fauci is at the top of the list of people that just they when you talk about loss of credibility,
public enemy like, number one.
You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you about, you know, Fauci. And so it's so a million other people in line from president on down in succession that typically get the heat, but the doctor, the scientist, the one that's doing science is the person getting the most flack for it. Coach Cody says CDC voted to the money and the people. Data went out of the window. They know people will congregate, so they're providing fan tips. Fuck out of here. But I've been using fans in my classrooms for a while, right? Just logically to keep the circulating. Because if y'all been in the classroom with anybody between the ages of 12 to 18, it's not right. They could go left very quickly. I seen a meme, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Lee after I seen this, but like it was something floating around on Twitter last week and Instagram that was like, it's wild how they had us in high school, going to gym, not showering after, going to lunch, eating burgers and milk, stuff that don't go like they really had it.
You know but what was crazy is like white, like when I saw like white kids school where they really was like for real like taking showers in school, You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's like Hollywood movie
Yeah.
shit. Like people don't do that in real life, nigga. You get sweaty in your street clothes, nigga. Like gym
And
in
that's we
school
grew up.
growing up. Gym in school growing up in Kansas City was going outside. like you really just y'all released either into this gym area or the wilderness in what you have on.
You're
So
right.
whatever you do and what you have on is that's staying with you all day.
I also like
that's-
to remind you that our generation, especially of guys, walked around like they was ready to catch a pickup game at any given moment. So yeah, they had old basketball shorts, under shorts,
Man,
6
I'm
shirts
telling
on,
you.
a hoodie. You know, teenagers wear hoodies year round. They don't care. They
But
too. You know what I'm saying? They're unaffected by the
kept a
weather.
pair of basketball shorts.
Bruh, ready for a
Kept-
pickup.
That's basketball shorts under your basketball shorts.
And really, as the nigga got older, it was like I literally had to buy jeans. Once I stopped doing that shit, I
You
had
had
to
to buy
buy
whole pair of
jeans
jeans.
at a different size because it was like, oh, I did need to get these big ass jeans. I really did.
I didn't need the 34 or 36s. I should have been 32 the whole time.
Like what the
Yeah. But the CDC, you know, we reckless abandoned. You know what I mean? So they've been lost our trust. They've been had us out here looking crazy. 1000%.
Yeah, man. Hey, so we say all that to say make sure y'all staying updated with the latest, I feel like, news when it comes to COVID. I think that it's always good to get as much information from as many different sources as possible. I think even if you feel like the CDC is full of shit, they flush down toilets, I think it is still worthwhile to not only see what they talking about, but see what multiple other people is talking about in sources, in different, scientific, databases. That's the word I want to use. I guess you feel me. Saying about the coronavirus, and right now they starting to recommend boosters. I say that for another conversation to ask because y'all getting that booster shot. But you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna turn it over. You feel me? And we gonna jump into the next shot.
All right.
And too, I gotta start this. I gotta start this thing for my daughter real fast. So I know the conversation gonna be about. I'm gonna be right back after the kind of introduction. My daughter been right here waiting on me, so I'm gonna do this real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
sure.
you good, bro.
Mute your mic if you can.
Yeah.
Jumping into the next chop, which is, we'll call it the social media chop. Let's go ahead and point out the elephant in everybody's room today. You know, since technically we're connecting with you through a medium of social media. Facebook went out. And as a result of Facebook and the conglomerate and monopoly that it is, so did Instagram, so did WhatsApp, so did a bunch of other apps and services that are connected through Facebook. So if you log in through Facebook to kind of take the shortcut because your phone already got that information logged in, you were probably subject to some type of outage to get to your favorite social media site. So my question to kind of start off the discussion was, and I definitely want to hear what Conscious Lee got to say about this, but for you, Damo, did the outages interrupt your day? Like, did they? And I want to hear from the chat too, of course. Did these outages influence?
Did it influence my day?
Mm-hmm.
These outages were nothing more than an irritant. No, it didn't influence my day at all. Like, I was checking some shit on Instagram, just just checking my Instagram. You feel me? I've been back on my political plug shit, so I was just checking on the content, and I couldn't. And I was like, that's crazy. So I got on the Wi-Fi just to see if it was and it was like, damn, it ain't the Wi-Fi either.
Yeah.
But like Instagram be doing silly shit like that for me, so I was just like, all right, it is what it is. Then I get on TikTok and I see niggas is like, Facebook is down, and I'm just like, okay. And then I went about the rest of my fucking day. It was
Right
that
on.
simple.
So you took the news, found out this morning rather, and just kind of kept it pushing.
You said
it was literally like one of them first thing in the morning irritants.
Okay,
This like technology isn't working the way it's supposed to. First world problem. I'm irritated. Moving on.
So first world problem, you kind of just put it in that category and kept it pushing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because TikTok still work, and that's more entertaining anyway. So.
Exactly. I had the same feeling about Twitter. Like and like Ethereum Beauty said, Twitter tweeted out hello literally to everyone. because a bunch of people, old accounts, people ain't tweeted in years, was like, what's popping? And on top of, I guess, people making new platforms, but I don't know how that would work, trying to jump on Twitter and follow them stuff, because you only really get to follow celebrities when you first get on Twitter. So you don't get to follow people who really got good commentary and saying good stuff. Like, you're going to get a couple viral tweets, but you're not really getting the Twitter experience because you haven't curated your timeline. Lee, what about you? I'm sure outages to Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. affected your day. So how, in what ways did it alter your day? And I want to speak for you, so elaborate if it did at all.
Definitely did. As a content creator and somebody that conducts a lot of business on Facebook and Instagram, it definitely impacted my day. I wasn't able to check my DMs. I wasn't able to, you know what I'm saying? Shit. I wasn't able to check my DMs. I wasn't able to check my analytics. Shit. Recently, I've been able, I feel like Instagram been playing with me in terms of taking a lot of features away for like no reason. Like, I give me no specific reason, just taking, you know what I'm saying, different features away. So I think that
they was fucking with you anyway.
Definitely like initially I'm thinking like, oh man, somebody they didn't got me. They about to delete my Instagram page now. You see what I'm saying? Shit like that. But once I got on Twitter,
they got tired of this pro-black shit.
Exactly. Once I got on Twitter though, I seen that everybody else was experiencing it as well. But I was thinking about like, shit, if I still had the ability that I was supposed to have in terms of getting Instagram TV ads. I'm thinking about people that rely on like IGTV ads and thinking about shit for 6 hours. You didn't get nothing. You didn't do anything at all. So thinking about like how that impacted, you feel me, the overall day, overall month, you feel what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that literally have, you know, converted to being full-time content creators. I'm not one of those people yet, you feel me, but coming soon, you know what I'm saying? So shit, just thinking about how those type of things is out of your hands, how you can be a content creator and you can put blood, sweat, and tears into building a platform and or creating some type of income, and how that income or how that platform, for whatever reasons, can be, you feel me, shit, froze, stopped, taken away, and just thinking about, you feel me, how you gonna come up with other ways to have hobbies and or make it where you're still able to have some type of social media presence while still, you feel me, shit, trying to, you know what I mean, pay bills.
Definitely. And we're gonna talk about the like economic and business rifts that it caused, because a lot of people, not even just content creators, felt the sting and felt the burn for today with social media going out. So we're gonna get to that in a second. I want to refer to these comments because Maximum Tato said the outages didn't change my day, but it did make me realize how Facebook intermingles and Instagram are in how intermingles Facebook and intermingled Facebook and Instagram are in business, in modern businesses. Absolutely 1000%. A huge expansion or component of expansion for those platforms was making them business owner friendly, right? We really started to see Facebook and Instagram deteriorate when your aunties and uncles and grandmas and grandpas and mamas and them got on there, and when everybody was able to open up a business place or a marketplace. And then you look at one hoodie. That's what I'm dealing with now. You look at one hoodie and now you got to look at 90 more hoodies because that's all they want to show you every other post, because you just decided that one hoodie looked cool, so you click some stuff. You trapped up in the algorithm, right? Yeah. Somebody else. Let's see. Coach K and Cody said, I didn't notice anything until hours later. Zero influence on my life. I hope people protest the FBI anyway with all the disinformation. So we're going to get there too, because there's been a finger and accusation pointed at the FBI for being behind all these outages and stuff. Pinky Promise Life said, at first I was like, did I pay my Wi-Fi? Then I saw I was down on TikTok. So I was like, okay. And I just stayed on TikTok. For me, and Ethereal Beauty said, yeah, it was a huge nuisance, to be quite honest, right? I'm not a content creator, even though I posted videos on this platform, but it does make you think about how dependent we are on disposable things. And I think that's big facts. For me, I had two things run through my mind when this hit me this morning, because I was like, I'm not really inconvenienced. Like, it's probably good for me that these apps don't work. And so I'm going to go take that as a win and try to lean into it. But one of the things I recognized was that Twitter, right? Still, I was like, what would the world be if we didn't have Twitter? Because I whenever things happen in the world, I go to Twitter. Like, I follow, and I curated my timeline in a way. And because it's so rapid in terms of how it updates, right? There's like 2 quiet hours on Twitter every day. where I can say my timeline literally slows down. Because and I'm on the West Coast. So eventually East Coast wake up and then my timeline back jerking again pretty early in the morning. Right. So with Twitter being moving and shaking, we were able to get some up-to-date information to see that everybody's Twitter was down. So I was able to confirm it wasn't me, it wasn't my internet, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, whatever. But that also led me to the thought, like, dog, what if like Twitter, which I guess is its own entity, but a very important entity, political entities use it, social people use it, entertainers use it, credible organizations kind of like that more than Facebook, than Instagram. They, you know, that it's valued similarly.
Yeah.
But also, what happens if Google goes down? Like, what happens if niggas can't get in their Gmails or Google what's happening?
If Google goes down, I can't use my motherfucking phone.
Period.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it
fuck.
makes me using my phone less desirable because a lot of things are powered through what Google is able to do. We log into our platforms, at least for me, with a Google.com email. So what, you know what I'm saying? What happens? But I just was like, what ifs? All the what ifs of what happened started to go through my head because we're done if that stuff falls out. My next question.
It was very inconsequential. I mean, on that, like in terms of like the impact on life. When we get into the other shit, it's more so does have consequences, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, so and I guess we kind of answered this question, but I want y'all to elaborate. I guess maybe not. So I asked, or y'all already told me, like y'all went to other platforms. George, did you spend more time on TikTok today? Did you spend more time or attend to your Twitter more? Like, did y'all go to other platforms or did you just kind of disconnect and say whatever with it until later on? You muted or something, Lee. We can't hear you.
You muted, George.
Damn. I spent a little bit more time on Twitter and TikTok, but I actually was trying to spend today as more of like being in DMs and emails. So, you know what I mean? That's what I was trying to figure out. So today I try to actually answer emails and do things like that. It's just that I was every once in a while trying to go back to Instagram, see if I can finally take my IG DM. So, you know.
So it still had you hooked in, even though you went other places, you still ended up coming back there a couple times.
Definitely, because that's what most like I feel like companies and people that you feel me book me, you know what I'm saying? If they're not going to my website, georgeleespeaks.com, they're going through really IG, you feel me?
Yeah.
So IG really being down, really is like damn. But I spend more time, I spend a lot more time on Twitter and a lot more time on TikTok.
I dig it. And then Plug, did you stay off all day or did you fly around?
I was on TikTok like a motherfucker. I was on TikTok so much. My wife talking about it's some TikTok song stuck in her head, and then I just started thinking about my social media habits altogether. You feel me? You know, I'm a Scorpio. We think deeply about shit. You know what I mean? Because like what I fuck around and do is like end up on Facebook knowing this shit don't work. like why the fuck do my fingers just like I turn on my phone? And my thumb just go to the fucking Facebook.
That's what I was saying too. Like I was like, man, that don't even work, George.
It was like it just became an irritant. Like I was just irritated today because I'm like, I keep seeing the same fucking status, and I know why. Why are you on Facebook? You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no reason to fucking be there.
It's wild.
I've been doing more shit on TikTok. You know, TikTok is like more entertaining at this point. Like if we just keeping it a stack, but.
Yeah, I think so.
To me, Twitter is more entertaining than all of them, and everything.
Look, George would like he's verified on TikTok, so George would be like, "Yeah, it's the best."
Yeah, I mean, so.
I think so. But I've been saying TikTok the best. You know what I'm saying, the best app for like since 2019.
You've been saying, I give you that, but I do think TikTok is more entertaining anyway. So it was just like, all right, let me just watch goofy shit on TikTok. And I'm the type of nigga where I put my phone down and then forget that I didn't just put it down. And one person TikTok just play 10 times. Motherfucker getting 10 views from me because I'm just putting the phone down and just moving on. Not realize like, it's TikTok. You gotta turn this shit off. But yeah, that's how I ended up.
Well, I mean, we got some comments going on in the chat. Definitely some solid things that allude to our dependence and need and craving for social media. I'm guilty of. I think, and the reason why I ended up back on Instagram a couple times, I was cool with it, and I was like, I'm gonna just go to Twitter and vibe, which that's still a dependency on an app, so I acknowledge that. But I ended up on Instagram a couple times because typically they're not out this long. Instagram outages have happened before, right? Like the
definitely all the time.
And so that wasn't new
for like an hour though, right? 30
you know
minutes.
what I'm saying? Like, or a piece of the morning, but the extent to which, or only some accounts will be down, but other accounts will be for something like that. But for how it was jarring and gripping to everybody. Now, something that Vance pointed out, and I want to use this to transition into some more conversation to get deeper into this. Vance says we've become more dependable on these platforms because it's an alleyway out of the trap that is traditional capitalism. It's not just content creators, but freelance, independent entrepreneurs, business owners in general. And I say that to segue into the international and economic implications of what happened today. I want to read y'all a tweet or a thread of tweets that I came across that really kind of situate this perfectly, because I kind of thought about this in terms of just seeing like Black immigrant families being like my African mother or like my Nigerian mother or, you know, whoever from the continent. A lot of them use WhatsApp, right, to stay connected, to have conversations with their family, to you know, whatever. And so my brain started thinking there, but I want to read this series of tweets that really kind of painted a picture for me. Let me find it. Okay, so this tweet from Jill, it starts off, here's what the U.S. coverage of this Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram coverage is missing. In much of the world, WhatsApp is synonymous with texting and phone calls. Facebook has partnered with telecom companies to make WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger free with mobile service plans. In other words, there are no data charges for using WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. In much of the world, everyone uses WhatsApp, including businesses, to conduct everyday business. I don't think many people outside of the U.S. know this. So the effects of this outage today are much more serious for people around the world trying to run their businesses. In case it's not obvious, I think it's shitty that Facebook was able to take such control of the texting and phone call market in this way, but here we are, right? So going back to, you know, conversations about antitrust laws, and I've had to think about antitrust
I was about to
laws
say, man, Toya, what?
every before, because it is the college policy debate topic across the country for policy debaters. And so when we talk about antitrust, we're talking about these big conglomerates, and most of the time we hear about them in terms of tech, right? Google, Facebook, so on and so forth, and how much, you know, of the share of these new innovations, of these partnerships, of these brands, of these industries they are able to capitalize on. But I want to be clear, it happens all over the place. It happens in industry, it happens in agriculture, it happens in the
immigration law,
in the entertainment industry, in the prison industrial complex, right? There are all types of things to be said about monopolies. But listen to right. Elevation. Hopefully you got a boost. With this tweet though, this series of threads, we get to the, you know, because Damo said it earlier, first world problem, right? So you really stop thinking about it as just a first world problem where, oh, I didn't get to check my timeline today, to the world stop for business owners, which is what George alluded to, right? Thinking about content creators who bread and butter is making sure they post all day long, right? So I guess my question to y'all is, how, you know, should entrepreneurs be thinking, or what are the negative implications? Just let's dig into, like, just talk to me about this whole econ thing. Like, George,
I think it's one of them things where it's a double-edged sword. You feel me? Like, it gave entrepreneurs, I mean, and you know, influencers, artists, all type of different, you know, avenues, a brand new lane. Like you don't have to rely on being recognized by some major corporation in order to develop an audience. You can do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like with it being like giving out that, like, listen, it's a whole new way you can do this. It kind of it made a reliance on the platform. You feel me? Like the whole way that you connect to your audience. Like if you're a content creator, like for example, if you're somebody who, you know, was able to blow your business up because of Instagram and rely on Instagram as a large part of your like customer, like direct to customer sales, that type of shit, then like what put you in that position to succeed and just bit you in the ass now. Because one thing that you realize now is there's an off switch. They can flick that
button.
I think that most content creators, I feel like, there's really thought strategically about kind of what it means to really have a virtual presence and trying to monetize that. You've already thought about what it means for a particular platform to kind of go out. I think that's the reason why I feel like you're encouraged in the very beginning to like get your website. You feel me? So it's like I know that when Instagram and Facebook was down, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com was still up. You feel what I'm saying? GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com was still, you know what I'm saying, getting traffic still. You feel me? You know what I mean? So I think that it's all about being able to, inevitably you're gonna come up on one platform, but being able to think about how to not put all those eggs
Diversify your shit.
and being able to diversify what it means to have a virtual presence and being able to figure out really how to have a hustle regardless. You see what I'm saying?
But this is the problem that you run into though, is that that incentive to understand why you need like an independent platform in order for whether it's your business or your personality or wherever your influence base is, why you need that independent space is like that has to be thinking worst case scenario. You feel me? And when you eating like that off of a platform like Facebook or off of a platform like Instagram, you don't end up thinking that as much, right? The investment isn't there as much. You know what I mean? Now, like again, when you got that hustle mentality, you definitely thinking about having your, you know what I'm saying, having your hand in different baskets. But the issue solely is that in a lot of ways, all these baskets is connected to this one platform. Because like as much as
it's still connected. I mean, we know that. I know that GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com is a link in all my bios. You feel me? But I also recognize too that, you feel me, like all the apps, like Fanbase still was up, TikTok still was up, Twitter still was up, YouTube still was up. You feel me?
Right. But when we talk about business, for example, as much as we looking at it like, okay, Facebook is problematic, the question has to become like, what if it happened to something like Google, where people's entire
our website would be affected. If Google went down, our website would be impacted.
Your entire business is on Google. You feel me? So like we sitting back like, damn, Facebook, but the implications are much larger now because now we see the vulnerability. Now we see like, shit. You know what I mean? Why, like back when people was talking about saying shit like having internet is like has to be a public good now.
Absolutely.
Because what's required, like so much shit what you gotta do on the internet to even access it. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, the vulnerability that it exposed kind of put everybody on fucking notice to where it's like, damn, like where, like how far in terms of like the diversifying my shit, like how far do I gotta go to make sure that I'm straight?
Absolutely.
You know I mean, especially when niggas is talking about fuck brick and mortar and we taking it all online. We going honestly, online.
People have, the way that they look at budgets, right? I don't need a printing budget, a flyer budget of this, but for my event, I've completely wiped that out of my calculus for what I need to get the word out, because I just make a post and it goes everywhere from people here to people around the world, right? In a moment. And so the timetable you give yourself, the budget you give yourself to do certain things connected to your business, a lot of those things shift and change. And so, for a lot of people, and I want to slide this in there before we move to the next part. A lot of people who talk about business ownership, entrepreneurship, business development, put emphasis on certain things that we, because we are a social media generation, give more credibility to, that are still the standard in terms of doing and being functional in certain spaces and places when it comes to doing business. So, people out there moving and shaking with your Instagram accounts and with your Twitters and with your TikToks, just remember that the deeper you get into that industry, some parts of your credibility are going to be tied to like simple shit like, do you have a website? Right? Or do you have a presence on LinkedIn? Right? Those, no matter what you do, right? That is a huge space for people to get into certain industries. So even if you were a musician, do you have a LinkedIn? You know what I'm saying? Depending on the gig, you want to know those and make those types of connections with you. So don't undermine, or think about or underthink or undersell some of these other platforms. I want to get, though, as we transition to the next part of this conversation, to the elephant in the room, or one of the things we haven't really talked about yet, right? Which is, what the hell happened? There's been no clear announcement. There's been no clear, hey, y'all, you want to hear a funny story? There's been no clear articulation of what happened to a multi-billion dollar
multi-billion-dollar.
Probably flirting with the
Because he
truth.
lost $7 billion. He lost $7 billion. So you know he got billions.
Because that was just the 6 hours in a 24-hour day that $7 billion disappeared. So we don't know. We have no answers. But if y'all saw the timelines, like I saw the timelines, a whole lot of skepticism about what's going on. We didn't see the FBI in the chat. We didn't heard about a lot of improprieties going on at Facebook. There's word of a whistleblower. So I want the plug to kind of lead some of this conversation and get us insight into the most popular conspiracy theory about what happened, which is this whistleblower who was on 60 Minutes the other night, blowing up the spot on Facebook and really potentially her
blew
words
up the whole joint.
about to change the tide on everything. So plug, go ahead and take it.
All right, so we're just gonna put it all out there. No bullshit, no games played. The accusation is that Facebook had to shut the fuck down after a whistleblower ex-employee who was scanning documents on the side like a motherfucker showed up and was like, Facebook crooked than a bitch, and I got all the proof to show it. You know what I'm saying? It was a 60 Minutes interview from a woman by the name of Frances Haugen, Haugen.
Do we have any clips?
CBS don't be playing with their YouTube shit, so we're not gonna show no clips, but we do have exact quotes. You feel me? We just going based off her words alone. Now, since this has come out, she will be going before Congress. You know what I'm saying? You know, Congress don't fuck with Facebook at all. You know what I mean? So they got a lot of questions for her, especially based on the shit that she gonna say, because it's really fucked up on like in a way that to where it's like it's not illegal, but when you think about the impact that Facebook is having on society, it raises a lot of eyebrows. You know what I mean? Because now we know that years back there was a study that came out that showed that since social media had become like heavily involved with real social life, it's been an increase in suicides. You feel me?
Trigger warning, suicide.
Trigger warning. Yeah, we use that word. I'm just gonna just point that out. We ain't gonna go deep into it. But I'm gonna just point that out that there has been a connection that was identified and publicly discussed, right? So we knew that was there. What Francis is saying is that Facebook knew the impact, but they only focused on their bottom line. They only focused on eating. Now, what she say specifically, these are her words. At some point in 2021, I realized, okay, I'm going to have to do this in a systemic way, and I have to get out enough that no one can question that this is real. She secretly copied tens of thousands of Facebook internal research. She says evidence shows that the company is lying to the public about making significant progress against hate, violence, and misinformation. One study she found from this year says we estimate that we may action as little 3 to 5% of hate and about 0.6% of a percent of VNI, that's violence and incitement, on Facebook, despite being the best in the world at it. Right? I got one more quote. Right before
one more quote. I definitely got a lot to say, boy. I got a lot to take.
Yeah, hold on. Now this is gonna be one more quote before we really get into, you know what I'm saying, the meat and potatoes. She said, we live in an information environment that is full of angry, hateful, polarizing content. It erodes our civic trust. It erodes our faith in each other. It erodes our ability to want to care for each other. The version of Facebook that exists today is tearing our societies apart and causing ethnic violence around the world. Ethnic violence, including the Myanmar in 2018, when military used Facebook to launch a genocide. Can't forget about that.
Yeah.
So given what she's saying in terms of why she felt like she had to speak out on some whistleblower shit in the first place, right? What are y'all initial thoughts of, you know what I'm saying, like how we got to this point?
Initial thoughts about how we got to this point. I think, yeah, I saw a tweet today that alluded to the idea that as soon as Facebook started to really expand its business model to start buying up and usurping a lot of these other businesses, we should have been alarmed and concerned, because that really kind of sets up this over connectivity, dare I say, right? Like we're already connected. One of the things I think of in the back of my mind is how many different inboxes somebody can hit me, the same person can hit me up on. Right. That's just like you can literally talk to me in 9 different inboxes and I get the same message, including text half the time. But that's because organizations and companies like Facebook have created a world where they're everywhere. They're everything. You know what I'm saying? And so that oversaturation, I think, created just a overly tangled web where everything is everywhere, and the influx of everything and everybody now being on everything. You get a little bit of all types of people on these platforms. And so I mean it's a powder keg. It's a perfect recipe for just too much. Just too much. Lee?
Man, I think that me seeing that documentary on Netflix a while ago, I think that there was already a lot of
documentary you talking about. You gotta tell the people about the documentary you talking about.
A documentary, I think it's Social Experiment. I think it's what's called the Social Experiment,
the Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma. The Social Dilemma. I think that when I seen documentary Social Dilemma, and they had so much credibility, but having former employees and execs, you feel me, from Google and Facebook and Instagram talk about the psychological impact that a lot of these companies have, you feel me, on a lot of the human consumers. I felt like there was already a lot of lack of transparency and already a lot of things that a lot of the social media people already knew about how their platforms, how their business models already have bad impacts on, you feel me, humans, whether we're talking about the increase of suicide, whether we're talking about the increase of, you feel me, body dysmorphia, whether we're talking about the increase of depression, whether we're talking about the increase of misinformation being spread, you feel me? I think that they already knew. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that when we start to pretty much see that we can't even agree about, about like the coronavirus being real or fake, or about, you feel me, the election being real or fake, to me, I think that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok really was able to kind of contribute, you feel me, to a lot of this era of misinformation and era of alternative facts that we live in, you feel me? So that's kind of how I seen it. But I also too see it today of me I constantly keep on hearing this statistic of 3 to 5%. So now I'm thinking about, well, shit, because I've been to Facebook jail, you feel me, more times than I feel like I should have been. Goddamn, I didn't have more things happen to my Instagram more times than it should have. I'm thinking of what percentage of black people, trans people, disabled people, you feel me,
make up that,
fat people. What percentage are we of those people that's of that 3 to 5% that's being, categorized as hate speech? Because in my statistics, shit, we're gonna see specifically probably black people that talk about Black Lives Matter, or black people that's kind of talking about anti-racism. We're gonna probably see that we make up a big overrepresented in that 35% of people that are seen as being a part of the hate speech. You feel me? And that's the part I felt like people wasn't talking about. And too, thinking about how, like right now, I'm streaming from TikTok as well. And I'm seeing that as soon as I start talking about this, the numbers drop from 200 damn near to 60 people. You feel me? So I'm really recognizing there's certain words, even on all social media platforms, that make it where you start
trigger it. Yeah,
exactly. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, but let's get into it though, because not all of these triggers operate the same right now. I mean, I think it's something that anybody that's kind of studied social media, any social media marketing, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out how shit work, it's something that we've already all like known. But let's go ahead and make it fact right now. All right. So from her, this is from Frances herself, ex-employee, whistleblower, Facebook 60 Minutes interview. She says, so you have your phone. You might see only 100 pieces of content if you sit and scroll for 5 minutes. But Facebook has thousands of options it could show you, right? We know that part. Facebook attempts to curate your experience on Facebook, you know what I'm saying, on while you're on the app. So the things that you've interacted with before play a large role in what you see. So check this out. The algorithm picks from those options based on the kind of content you've engaged with the most in the past. And one of the consequences of how Facebook is picking out that content today is it is optimizing for content that gets engagement or reaction. but its own research is showing that content that is hateful, that is divisive, that is polarizing is easier to inspire people to anger than it is to other emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Says misinformation, angry content is enticing to people and keeps them on the platform. Yes, Facebook has realized that if you change the algorithm to be safer for people, people will spend less time on the site. They'll click on less ads. They'll make less money.
It's not a game. That's why
It's no
Capitalism,
joke.
capitalism, boy.
So from this perspective, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this. But when I'm reading this, Trump made Mark Zuckerberg billions. Black Lives Matter made Mark Zuckerberg billions. All of these things that are socially polarizing, all of these things that are making people like want to say something. Like I'm angry and I want to say how I feel about this. They just hopping on their Facebook and they get the content that is being deemed acceptable for the algorithm is all shit that's gonna piss you off. It's purposely made to anger you, and they know it. And listen, this ain't conspiracy theory shit no more. Because everybody said it. It's always been like, yeah, like when I get on social media, like I get irritated, like I get mad because I like, you know what I'm saying? I end up spending 12 comments on this post that pisses me off, but the shit that I'm cool with, the shit that makes me smile, I scroll right past that shit. You feel me? That's all something that
like
we felt and that it's all something that we
showed us.
felt and that we known. But now Facebook, like the people at Facebook telling you, like, yeah, and we not eating if y'all not pissed off on this app.
Outrage. We need outrage.
I mean, that's really, and Dominique, you and Ryan know my good friend P that's down in Texas that live in Austin right now, used to work for Facebook, right? So when we think about the lucrativity of this particular industry, one of the things, and I saw a tweet that made me think about her, was how much money is generated for them to create a lemonade stand or a fake veneer of caring and stopping a lot of this traffic when really a lot of that work is bullshit, or puts the people who have been given the job to filter that content in a real messed up position. What do I mean by that? P was one of the people who worked for a private agency that was licensed out or hired out to like filter through the Facebook's content. Her job was to catch and filter out the bullshit. And one of the things we talked about a lot was the contradictory or just like really stupid rules about what can stay versus what could go. And she was like, a lot of the shit that they allow to stay on here, I really don't understand or don't see how it's getting passed. A lot of shit they having me take out be really, mild stuff, a nipple of a woman talking about breast cancer, or you know what I'm saying? Like wild stuff. And she eventually had to quit because they don't even make the investments necessary for the people they hire to filter through all that terrible content that still makes its way to our platform. The psychological and emotional violence they deal with and go through, not even accounted for. So a lot of the capitalism, a lot of the money that they could be spending, having better filters, creating safer platforms, paying people better for, mental health and emotional health for having to sit there and sit through that bullshit. A lot of that is gone. And that's what she's alluding to. A lot of the money that was supposed to be going into a lot of their infrastructure and capacity that was supposed to be going into stopping these apps. When they get called into court, I don't know about y'all, but it seems like every 6 months I'm looking at a new article where Mark Zuckerberg is before this committee or having this conversation. And none of those times, she's saying, were there ever meaningful attempts to ever stop the violence, the very intricate layered types of problematic positions, right? And the last thing I'll say is this, as Black people, how harmful and triggering was it for us to see every time somebody, something happens to them by the police, there's videos of it splattered and, everywhere, slapping everywhere. That
Black Death has made Mark Zuckerberg billions of dollars.
Come on.
No, without a doubt. Now, I do want to point out that after the what happened in the 2016 campaign, where there was a considerable amount of misinformation, a considerable amount of social manipulation that was done via Facebook uniquely, they created this. I'm trying to pull the name up of what it was. They had the civic integrity. They had a civic integrity office. And so what they did was after the 2020 election, they dissolved the civic integrity office because they was like, okay, boom, the election happened, no riots, nobody got shot up. You feel, boom, we good. But then the January 6th shit happened after they dissolved the civic integrity shit. You feel me? So it's not just that there have been efforts, but they've been so shallow, they've been so misguided, they've been so empty that their effectiveness has been like completely undermined.
For sure.
That's the point where they at like right now. What was you gonna say, George?
Well, shoot. I mean, ultimately, a lot of what we getting at and a lot of what we pulling on is, I think, what Vance is alluding to. We asked the question, when's the last time you actually read the community guidelines? A lot of them tricked us into signing away their liability and accountability for simply joining the platform. And so as they get deeper into, you know, their issues, because we don't know, right? A lot of people said Facebook got they chain yanked. They gone. Like, potentially they could be gone forever. Like, this is today, but this whistleblowing situation could be the opening to a portal that we're not ready for as a society.
Download fan base today, goddamn it.
Yeah, you know what? I think, and even, you know, let's get the fan base promotion out there. Let's get our contractual obligations out there. But if we being real, I think at this point it's already too late. I think because social media is now so much a part of like regular media, right? Like that.
Everyday lives.
The hooks is already set, right? Like
living in the matrix.
I mean, and when you have free market capitalism, actually kind of incentivizing, if we keep people on the platform, we make more money. And people stay on the platform more when they on some bullshit. Let's keep them on the platform for bullshit. There's nothing illegal about that. Even though we see like the social impact like that it has on the mental health, especially of kids. By the time we got on social media, like shit like Facebook, we were graduating. Like we was getting ready to be done with, like we was going up to college and all that other shit. Motherfuckers been on Facebook since they 10, 11 years old. Right? They whole understand.
They can go see they can see all their childhood birthdays on Facebook. Right.
They whole
understand died from the time they was 5 to the time they
Listen, they whole understanding of social capital is caught up in likes and views. At its foundation, there's a real metric. Like for us, popularity was always like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was different everywhere you go. Like, so you could be popular for different reasons. In this era, because of what social media has ushered into the you know what I'm saying, public psyche, there is a real number tied to the value that you have on the platform.
Absolutely.
Likes, views, subscriptions. Shit, we beg for them. You feel me? Like whether or not we're considered a legitimate platform is depending on how many of you motherfuckers is tuned in. How many of y'all actually comment? You know what I mean? And really, we not like even us, we not shock jocks. We get up here and just like really speak like the shit that as we intellectualize it, like, you know what I'm saying, as thinkers, we kind of bring this shit in and give it. We can't do the shit that would really blow a platform up based on, oh my God, they on the Shade Room because they said some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like the Kevin Samuels of, you know what I mean, the Charleston Whites, like the wild motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Because those are the people that get the clicks and the fucking likes. That's a cultural, that's a social thing. You know
I think that when we think about what the whistleblower specifically said about controversy and a lot of our criticisms about social media, the reason why a lot of content creators kind of go to the top, including myself, is because we figured out different ways to be able to talk about controversy and or be controversial, you feel me, in ways that drive engagement as well as, you feel me, drive following, you feel me. And I think that that's just a part of, you know what I'm saying, how social media is. But I think that kind of the TV was already going towards their point. And then to me, social media just became everything on TV that was sensationalized and it got focused on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah, so
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, because y'all know how I feel about this type of like I could, because to me, it's one of them things where it's gonna be interesting to see what Mark Zuckerberg has to say to Congress, because there's no metric, or there's no way to hold him accountable because of the society that we live in. Ain't no way to hold him accountable like legally for like fucking up society,
Yeah.
right? Like there's no way to be like, motherfucker, like you've introduced a whole new metric in the way that people understand they own self-worth, and we got to do something to you.
I
Can't.
mean, you have what he does and what the influence he's been able to have through these apps is difficult to pin down, right? And I think that's why he hasn't had to be accountable before this point, because it's hard to quantify, right? They have a lot of parallel, like causation. What is it? Correlation is not causation. So
Right.
while a case can be made that these sites are what making children act this way or behave this way, and there are
You
statistics
can't blame
that
them for
there's
that.
not
Yeah.
a direct causal relationship, or at least it's hard to pin
Mm.
one down that because you scrolled through something that made you go do something to yourself, or made you go do something to somebody else, or made you like
That will hold you legally liable.
exactly right. So I mean, I
Mm.
think this is a tangled web being woven, because it's hard to peg down like what, and then how responsible. Given that there's multiple causes, like what percentage of it then becomes Mark Zuckerberg's or Facebook's versus the angst of a teenager versus the hard time you have growing up in American society in middle school, high school,
Versus accessibility that parents
versus
allow
versus good old
for these
fashioned
platforms.
conservatism, and you was gonna be racist in the
Yeah.
first place. And based on this, and based on like, there's a lot of different things to account for when you try to take these statistics and use them to explain something. So it's gonna be hard to say, Mark, that was all you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can. But I mean, I say this. I really think, you feel me, like as like, in order, the only way that we check this, the only way that this works is if you look at platforms like the Chop Up and be like, we got to support some positive shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause this is the arena. You know what I mean? And so somebody's getting access. And so at a certain point, it got to be like, I'm gonna treat positive comments the way that I treat negative comments, because I know I'm susceptible to, a bunch of motherfuckers showing me love on a video. The one motherfucker that's like, you stupid. Why are you talking? I'm gonna make a video about your ass.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, all the people that show love, I'll make no videos about them. But this motherfucker, like, is I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, this is who I feel like I gotta respond to.
Yeah.
So it's like, shit, like, we gotta bring, like, it's like, if to hold them accountable, to hold them responsible, we gotta demand something different. Because if this is all we gonna ask for and say this is all we gonna respond to, you know what I mean? Ain't too much you can do.
Well, this won't be the last time we end up hearing about these platforms kind of doing something different and new, doing something new. Their ability to exist as they are in this form could change in a lot of interesting ways. So stay tuned for what that's going to look like. But that's me on the social media shop. Definitely excited for us to continue developing these conversations and push forward with it. A couple of things coming up this month I want to tell you all about before I turn it over to everybody else and we get up out of here. One is we are still going to have a debate between myself and Vance coming up here in a couple of weeks. We're going to
Vance, I gotta holler at you. That's on me.
Yeah.
Facebook was, IG was all, but I got you.
But we started to really kind of figure out what a decent structure format, a decent proposition for it is and everything. So that debate about vaccines, about whether black people should take vaccines, is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. But we'll share the info with Vance and get back with y'all on the specifics when we lay that out. We are also going to have another Black People Don't, right, and talk about international travel. We got a homegirl, Amber, who's going to come on and talk about, the idea, the concept of, the cosmetologist, I don't even think that's the right word, the cosmopolitan Black person, but the traveler, right? The person who gets out there, who goes around the world, who goes to other countries, who gets familiar with that particular part of existing, right? We always heard that it was the white kid with all the money, the ability to go backpack around Asia or Europe or some shit like that. But we're going to talk about Black people who take it upon themselves to go see more of the world. And then we also are going to have a big chop with some guests who were with Consciously for Conscious Conversations last week, I think, but are going to come over here and hang out, talk about Black masculinity and then some. So we're not going to give too much information away. Just make sure y'all stay in
Shout out to Blairisms, man.
Make sure y'all staying tuned in the month of October, because we got some great discussions, great conversations coming through. That's me, Toya G. Gotta be with y'all. Y'all go ahead, drop y'all closing statements. We can get up out of here.
Hey, Our website is coming very, very soon. Y'all be on the lookout for that website. And listen, when the website drops, all we asking is for you to go on and put your support for the Chop Up Nation and get your Chop Up and Chill shirts. You know what I'm saying? As well as just checking out the website. You feel what I mean? So be on the lookout for that. Tell a friend and tell a friend. You feel me? As a matter of fact, when we drop the website, go on and send it to all the people in your contacts. You know what I'm saying? It's a text message. Chop Up Show. You feel me? It's going down.
Yeah, and look, y'all, this Wednesday, Conscious Conversations. You feel me? Who you having on Wednesday, George?
Right now, I think it's gonna be some talking about cryptocurrency as well as Palestine. Be on the lookout for that. You know, I'm still finalizing the details on what this Wednesday is gonna be, but that's hopefully what it's gonna be about cryptocurrency. I got this black woman that's an expert in crypto, as well as one of the homies, Arab McLovin, Palestinian homie, come in and kind of school us about some Palestinian history, as well as getting into the black and Palestinian solidarity movement history. You feel me? Hopefully that's what we get into this Wednesday. Be on the lookout for that. 9:30 p.m. Central on my YouTube channel.
Hey, outside of that, y'all subscribe to the Chop Up Show on Facebook. If you ain't subscribed on YouTube, y'all make sure y'all do that. If you don't hear from the Consciously, go over to the Chop Up Show on YouTube and subscribe. If you don't hear from the Chop Up Show, go to the Consciously and subscribe. Go to them Facebooks, the Chop Up Show and the Consciously, and make sure y'all follow us there as well as the Instagram, which is the Chop Up Show, and the Twitter.
Chop Up Show Pod. Chop Up Show Pod.
I had it.
I was ready.
But you know what I'm saying? But we are there. So we had to get it in real quick like that for y'all. Y'all know how it go. Y'all gonna see us some more times this week before we head out. Y'all know how we do.
Comments real quick. Better Future, before we know how we do and slide up out of here. Better Future, you said, where do I support? Stay tuned every Monday night. Come back here. We'll talk more about supporting. You can drop badges. I think you can make donations through YouTube, if that's what you were referring to in terms of supporting. We really don't necessarily ask for them, but we definitely open to taking them. We're trying to do the website. We're trying to do the merch. We're trying to do a lot of different things to wrap up 2021 and head into 2022. So we own the job. And then El Teron, I just want to say thank you so much. We see you popping in every now and again. It's been a minute, but definitely happy that you popped back in and slid on us just to say what's up, just to try to chime into this conversation. Jump in these comments. It's always great to hear from y'all, just saying what's up, just saying, hey, that's one of my favorite parts of this whole thing.
Best, definitely. Glad Toya was able to get that in before we left out of here. But yeah, man, we out. We're gonna close it out the same way that we bring it in. Let's get it.
Me, my guys, we really live. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny.